The World Reggae Beat with me, Warm and Easy, keeping you company, and you're listening to the sounds of Nitty Gritty. Released in the UK on the Unity Sounds record label. And talking about Unity Sounds, the original Unity sound system was created by Robert RIBS FEARON in 1982. After 10 years of selecting Fatman sound, who was by then in the top 3 sounds in England. RIBS moved on and built the original Unity sound, and he had also become friends with Prince Jammy, now known as King Jammies. And we have the honour and the privilege to say, RIBS, greetings and welcome to the World Reggae Beat.
Greetings, Warm and Easy.
And as we mentioned earlier on, this track that we just played with Nitty Gritty originally came out on the Unity label in England, and we're going to talk about how that came about a bit later on. But for all the people who are listening, or maybe listening for the first time to World Reggae Beat, tell them a bit about yourself and how you got involved on the reggae scene.
Yeah, well, from I was 14 years old, I had the sound system reggae bug, you know, and so forth. I used to follow a sound, well, not follow it, but now and again sneak out to listen to a sound that called Sir Fun. So when I was 14, nearly 15 years old.
Is that in the UK or was that back in Jamaica?
No, that's in the UK. That's in the UK. I came to England from I was 8 years old.
And what was the music scene like when you first came in at that age?
Yeah, well, my
reggae?
daddy used to go and buy his Blue Beats, you know, reggae on Blue Beat label, you know, Prince Buster and them thing there. And every Sunday, and him play music on the Blue Spot Gram.
Is that where you caught the bug then, listening to your father's music?
Yeah, you know, because he was a hardcore reggae man too.
I'm gonna take over now. I'm gonna take over now. 'Cause I know that our time has come. Yes, I know that our time has come. And I know
Was he a man that went out raving and listening to sound himself as well?
No, well, at that time, he was one of the Windrush generation. There wasn't really that many places to go out and listen to the music as such, you know. There was 1 and 2 little specialist shops where you could go and buy reggae music, you know. And every Friday before my daddy come home, when him get the pay packet, and stop at this little shop on the corner. And then for all 2-3 hours, to the come in at the house, you know, with around half a dozen of the latest tunes them that's being released or came over on pre-release.
What were the name of the clubs that were around at that time then? Because you said there weren't many. So.
There weren't many. There was a Sunset Club that was in Ivory Corner. There was a few clubs in the Brixton area, Ram Jam and a few others. There was also the People's Club. That was in the West End, Broad Street, you know. Suckle used to own it, but them time there...
Is that Count Suckle?
That's right. Them never really play reggae them time there. Them was playing more the soul records, you know.
Yeah, because at that time, I believe, Jamaica's radio stations were importing music from America for the listeners to listen to.
That's right.
And then the sound system men took that up, and that's where groups like Scatterlights and all that came in to recreate them tracks in reggae. Ska at the time.
Yeah.
So, being a young man growing up at that time and seeing your father getting music, I mean, that's how I caught the bug as well, you know. I used to sneak into the front room, which was disallowed. And then, we used to listen to some tunes from Desmond Dekker and people like that. So, after all that happened, what age now did you decide, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, well, when I turned 15 going on to 16, me and my elder brother, he's about a year and a half older than me. We were just like, say, leaving school and going out on the work scene. Come weekend now, we would go in the West End to listen to Coxsone, Neville, Duke Reid, and in my era you had a song called Sir Fun. So
when you say Neville, was that Neville the Enchanter?
Yeah, Neville the Enchanter.
Because there was also a Neville King.
Neville King. No, yeah, different thing. Neville King is a more lovers rock sound.
So Neville the Enchanter was one of the original sound systems.
Yeah, original thing.
I remember Dennis Alcapan talking about them as well, that they were one of the original sounds that he used to listen to when he first came to the UK. Yeah. So that was a golden era then of music as well.
Yeah, man. One of the best era, because them time the Studio One tunes them were brand new.
And this Irish.
Duke Reid tunes them was brand new. You know, the foundation basically for reggae, as how reggae is now, came from that era, from that time, you know, because it was ska. Before that, it just turned into the reggae with Alton, you know, Rocksteady and so forth. So it was that era.
You mentioned record shops. You said the tunes were new, so they must have been selling like hotcakes.
Yeah, they were selling like hotcakes, but they were hard to get still in this country, you know, because they were coming over in pre. It wasn't in any great quantities. It was mainly the sound system man them would have got out of these music as well.
You mentioned Coxsone sound. Tell us a bit about Coxsone sound, because there's a bit of confusion as well about how that sound was related to the sound back in Jamaica and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, the Coxsone sound in England isn't anything related to the Coxsone sound in Jamaica. But what used to happen is the sound systems in England used to take, a lot of them took their name from the sounds in Jamaica. So that was about the only link with that. But the Coxsone sound in England was one of the wickedest sounds. And
why I mentioned that, as well as I know that you highly regard them as one of the foundation sounds in the UK, and that the right people in the sound need to get recognised, like who? Lloyd Coxsone himself?
Well, in the original days, from what I know, it was like Lloyd Coxsone, Castor Brown, there was a chap called Glenn, and Gunsmoke, and a few other different characters from, like, say, what it eventually went to, you know, and so forth, because those guys are big elders now, you know.
And they used to play in house parties as well, didn't they?
Yeah, man. House parties was the thing at the time. We didn't have no clubs. We originally, like sound system in England, originally started out in house blues.
So when you say they didn't have no clubs, is that because the clubs that were around wouldn't allow sound system in there, or was it just a thing that it just became?
Them just find out about black people much more club.
Yeah, because not long after the Windrush.
That's right, the Windrush just come and so there to feel us out, you know.
So when you first went on Fansa Sound and you were still quite young, what was that like for you? Because they were already established, weren't they?
Yeah, Fansa Sound was established in North London as one of the champion sound, you know, and so forth. That's where I learned the trade.
Who did you learn from in that sound?
Yeah, well, I learned it from Fansa. He was a sound system owner, and I first had to learn how to wire up the boxes, to run wires from the box, from the speaker box to the amplifier. And then when I did that, now I stood up next to the record box. Once Fansa was playing his music, once he played a record, he would give it to me. I put it into the sleeve and put it into the record box.
He was a real apprentice then.
I did about 2 years of that.
And you enjoyed it as well, though, didn't you?
Yeah, well, of course, because the bug was there, you know. So it was like a learning process, you know. And at the same time, the record was just being played. It was handed to me so I could look at the label, and I knew the music and so forth. Till eventually now, he would leave me now in the early part, because sound system used to go and string up their sound from very early. And the owner would go away and leave like me now to play the music until he comes back, you know, when the crowd is coming or near before the crowd start coming in.
When did you get promoted from that stage to the next, when you actually run things now?
What he did anyway, he used to hide or took with him the best music. So I had to learn from what was left, you know, the second best, what was left, the old.
To make the best of what was left.
That's right. So to keep the crowd entertained until he came, or who was coming in the dance from early, I had to, because I was getting cursed in the beginning. They used to cuss me and say, play better music, and not knowing that you know, the best music wasn't there and so forth. So with all that cussing and so forth, I had to get good, you know, and play the music and keep them happy until the main man came along.
So when you used to play sound system at that time, was it just a selector around the sound? There was no really mic man at the time?
Not really. There was no...
It was all about the music?
Yeah, it was more about the music. It was all about the music.
So when did the DJs come onto the scene? Because you said your brother was involved as well.
You had DJs, you know. They were DJs, but they wasn't, they might introduce the records.
You say you're a rude boy. You also say you can't go to jail. But you live in a glass house, so don't throw stones.
And that's about it. And say 1 and 2 words in between, you know, but that's basically it, you know. And it wasn't even called, it was called toasting in those times. Yeah. So it's just a filling thing at that time, you know, but it was mainly about the music.
What about Sound Clash? Did that elevate from them days?
Yeah, man, they had Sound Clashes in those days. Sound Clash wicked.
Any memorable ones from that time?
Yeah, man, I remember a Sound Clash. Coxsone was involved, was mainly kept in the town halls. And you'd have maybe 4 sounds on their individual sound systems, would string up. And everybody is playing their own individual selection of music. So to be like a champion sound, you would have your own selection where another sound didn't have.
Because it's in a town hall, obviously you weren't open
finished
till...
the town hall would finish at midnight.
Midnight?
Yeah, and so forth. But it could easily be filled from 8 o'clock because the timing period was of that era, you know, was that time.
But people were coming out in their hundreds.
Yeah, man. That's right. It's a sound clash, you know, and so forth. So they would come out to support their own sound, you know, the sound that they followed in from their area.
So what name of some of the other tough sounds that were around at that time? I heard there were sounds like Admiral Ken. And
yeah, man, Admiral Ken. Admiral Ken was a tough sound, but you see Admiral Ken now. Admiral Ken played in one place in Red Lion, mainly. A place called the Red Lion in Leytonstone. Admiral Ken was a guy who used to go out and hire venues. So when he hired a venue, that's where he would play. He wasn't one of the sounds that people booked here and there, you know. But you had Count Shelley, you had Chicken the Thunderstorm. This is all from North London area because that's the area that I come from.
I remember as a youth man going to dances in London, and when dance finished, we ended up going to Chicken Blues, which started like in the morning. Yeah.
Chicken is a man now would have got string up him sound from about 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, because there was always from that time a set of people will never leave Freedom House until 4 o'clock a morning, Saturday morning, for go a dance. So Chicken used to get really nice about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes people would go out, and when other places was thinning out, they weren't ready to go home yet. So they all ended up at Chicken. And Chicken did this thing for years.
So you mentioned Red Lion. Now, I know as a youth, I used to go to Red Lion to listen to you when you played Fatman's sound. Now, what was the move from Fonso to Fatman's sound?
Yeah, well, it's Fonso decided that he was going to go back to Jamaica, you know, and so forth. He wasn't staying in England anymore, so he packed up his sound. He took it with him as well, and went back to Jamaica. Well, for the next couple of months, there were no sound in the area. Fatman was a man that used to follow Fonso's sound, and occasionally he would have touched a mic and say one and two little things. So with there being a gap there now, because there is no sound systems, well, there was sound systems, but not as good as Fonso. So why I call it a gap is because a lot of people now was listening to lesser good sound. So Fatman decides that him can listen to these sound. So he's going to build a sound. So I built his sound, Imperial Downbeat.
Is that the original name for it?
Yeah.
Imperial Downbeat. That's a good name, actually.
Fatman, and with Fatman, that was his nickname, Fatman. So everybody knew him as Fatman.
So is that why the name changed from Imperial sounding? Because he was so popular?
to Fatman, yeah, because Fatman was his name. So a lot of people say, yeah, man, I got Fatman Saturday night.
So how do you get the name RIBS then? Is it on the same kind of...
No. RIBS now is my mother. My mother gave me that as a nickname.
Right.
And so forth, when I come to England, you know, and so forth.
Okay. So when you started to play Fatman sound now, how did that come about?
Yeah, well, one night, I went to listen to Fatman sound, because Fatman sound was around playing a good year before I actually joined Fatman sound. You know, filling up a lot of blues dances in the area. Anyway, one night I went to listen to him, and it was just him alone. He was on his own, nobody there to give him a hand, and so forth. So me, with the experience I had, and I knew of him because I was playing Fonso sound, he used to follow the sound, decided to give him a hand to string up the sound and so forth and get him started, you know. Okay, so anyway, that is all I did on that night. About 2 weeks later, I heard that he was, like, say, playing nearby again, and I went to the dance. When I went to the dance, went close around the amps and so forth and things like that, and he asked me to come and select a few tunes.
Could you remember the first regular venue then that you played with Fatman sound? Was it Red Lion Club?
No. Red Lion didn't surface then as a venue for Fatman. You know, it was blues. It was playing in blues dances in the area.
In Tottenham?
You know? In Tottenham, Finsbury Park, Hornsey as well, you know.
Yeah. All them sounds used to stick to their area at that time.
Yeah. Mostly Champion.
Because you'd have sounds from over Brixton that wouldn't venture into Tottenham area, and this vice versa. Is that right?
Yeah. For a sound to venture from one area into another area, you have to be a champion. You know, and so forth. Whereas each area would have about 3 or 4 sounds that were good in their little corner of the area.
Entertained by the sound scan, Fatman, I fine.
Well, I know personally that playing Fatman sound, you clash with some of the great sounds, as you mentioned. There's Coxon, Shaka,
man.
Lord Coos, Lord David.
Yeah, all of a sound.
You know,
by the Fatman era now, there is a lot more sound systems now in England. There is a lot more clashes because everybody wants to be a champion, you know, and so forth. And the music was coming into the country much more easier. The producers from Jamaica was coming into the country, so there was access to the music more now.
So when Fatman got popular and you was playing the sound, how many other sounds were around in Tottenham at that time that wanted to be champion sound as well?
There was all it, man. Plenty. Too much for mention.
And every one of them had to clash with you.
Yeah. It wasn't, I mean, you didn't have to prove yourself by clashing with a sound, you know.
Yeah.
You can just prove yourself by just
following.
The following, you know, and the type of music and the standard of music that you were playing.
What was the typical kind of reggae that you used to play on Fatman sound at that time?
Yeah, mostly one drop
vocal.
reggae tune, one drop vocal tune, you know, roots and culture tunes them as well.
Me plan, it was a flat foot hustling. Come make we look little scuffling.
What was the Lovers Rock scene like then at that time?
No, it didn't exist. You see, the Lovers Rock thing, as the British Lovers Rock scene didn't exist. Because Lovers Rock, really, to be honest, love tune was being made in Jamaica. From the year of one. Yeah, people are dance, man a dance with woman from the year of one. This thing you never come about with Lovers Rock invention. This thing you go on from the year of one. A man, we used to call it rub, a girl, or, you know, and so forth, from the year of one in the blues dance. You know what I mean? Lovers Rock is just, to me, a watered down imitation of what we used to do.
If you watch the Scout video, then the man a dance with woman then, right? To the Scout, it was up tempo, but they were dancing.
Yeah.
Then the rubber dub came along when people like
Rocksteady.
When the
Rocksteady scene come in,
yeah,
and the thing slow down, and so forth. Yes, right, and so forth. And man used to hug up. You understand me? Them days that when you go and dance, and from you get a one dance, you know. That is it. You don't want to let go.
Yeah.
Because you might not get again. Me and my brother used to, when we leave the nightclubs, you know, we used to count, you know, and so forth. And we used to, like, say, run joke with another, you know. One another say, yeah, man, me get 6 dance tonight. And say, no, man, me get better than you. Me get 7.
So, you mentioned your brother there, he used to DJ on Fatman as well, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. No?
So did he join the sound same time as you, or was it afterwards?
Same time as me, basically, you know, because we always left the house together most of the time.
When you say DJ, he also put out music as well, didn't he? Cause
I recorded him later on in my Fatman era, you know, and so forth. I recorded him and another DJ called Prince Naphtali, who I introduced to Fatman sound as well.
Hey, man called Roy Rankin, along with the man called Naphtali. Cause this a singer, this a sing this style. Cause this a singer, this a sing this style. Do it! I don't know much about history. I don't know much about biology. I don't know much about science book. I don't know much about the French I took. But I do know that I love you. And I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world it would be. Say what a wonderful world it would be. Now I don't claim to be an A student, and I'm not trying to be. But maybe by being an A student, baby, you would give your love to me. I don't know much about algebra. I don't know what the sine rule is for. I don't know much trigonometry. Don't even know geometry. But I do know that I love you. And I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world it would be. Say what a wonderful world it would be. Say lada, this a singer, this a sing this style. Say this a singer, this a sing this style. Say Naphtali wanna chat with you. Say Naphtali wanna chat with you. And that touch you, whoa, 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 whoa. Some bang, bang, bang. That touch you, whoa, 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 whoa. Some worry, worry. Cause this a singer, this a sing this style. Right? Cause this a singer, this a sing this style. Cause Lord, me a rhyme ranking wicked and a while. And so me a go forward in a different style. Yeah, what me say? Hey, yeah.
How did you discover Prince Naphtali? Was he another man that just came along to the dance and wanted to prove himself?
No. Naphtali was DJing a song called Mighty Rebel. They were playing a Monday night session, early session, 7 till 11. 2 sounds was playing in a little old near where I used to live. It was a Monday night. I went down there, and Naphtali was DJing on one of the sounds. I saw him DJing another sound, and I said to him, Naphtali, you need to come around Fatman sound if you want a bigger exposure. You know, and so forth. So I said, okay, you know, so that's how I introduced Naphtali to Fatman.
And he was really good as well. He was quite popular at the time.
Yeah. Naphtali had a good vibe.
Now the time I dreadlocks, yeah. Your daddy
say you shouldn't play with me. This a sing, dear style. Slang bang, this a sing, dear style. Come here, right ranking, me wicked and a while. But a lot of two we born as a disciplined child. Can watch female jacket so it don't get style. Cause if it gets style, say it woulda get spoiled.
Musical is called Black Mona Lisa. Yeah. For all the African sisters. Yeah, you know. Power. Say ya so naughty, dreadlocks, say ya so sad. Say ya so naughty, dreadlocks, say ya so sad. Say no, never sweet like ya so sad. Say no, never sweet like ya so sad. Me say me nah let go a dance on Saturday night. Me take out the vendor and me hold a corner. Say way over yonder, me sight a daughter. Say that you pretty than the picture Mona Lisa. Say that I would like to get to know you a little better. Some of me ask her for your telephone number. Say that to you I love and not another. Come and say you may change but I will never. You say you make my pulse beat higher. The Lord I say you make my heart beat faster. Lord I say she richer than the picture Mona Lisa. Talking about the African data. Sound real about the African data. Got it? Say mama lock the door and a papa got the key. But that don't stop you from a loving me. The roses are red and a violets are blue. Say from I was two, say I love you for two. Say you're so naughty, that say you're so sad. Say no, never see like this as sad. The place where two people meet. It's at the place where the roads reggae beat.
You played in a lot of clashes with Fatman Sound. I remember going to Red Lion. It wasn't so much a clash that time, but I heard you playing with a sound called Locomotion.
Yeah, well, Locomotion was more like a soul sound. That's not a clash. Those were actually the promoter for the venue sound system as well. Yeah. There's entertaining dances. There was more entertaining dances more than actual clash dances.
That was just a once in a...
That's right, it was a once in a while thing and so forth. But like say, when the business got so competitive that it became a stage where the clash dances now got more regular. You know, and if a sound from one era was coming into your era and we were playing together, it would come in like a clash, you know.
That sound, Locomotion. It's interesting that you said they were a soul sound, because that when was that? That was in the 70s, late 70s.
Yeah, that's right.
And in the late 70s, that proved that even then reggae dances, we introduced soul music in there as well.
That's right. From day one. Yeah. From day one, even in the late 60s, when you played, they were playing the Motowns, you know, soul records in the dances as well as reggae tunes.
All right, let's go back to the clash then. How many times did you win clash with Fatman Sound?
I won 5. We played 5, and I won the whole 5. You know, Fatman Sound. I never lost a clash with him. You know, proper clash where they says clash.
Can you remember the other sounds that were involved on those?
We played clashes with Moambasa, King Tropical, Shaka, Coxon, numerous Jesus. But there were 5 official clashes.
You mentioned Coxon. They used to be resident in Four Aces, didn't they? Four Aces Club.
Yeah, Coxon resident in a few places. Coxon originally was resident in a nightclub in the West End, you know, and so forth. And he resident in quite a few places, but he did a lot of resident work in the Four Aces as well.
Okay. So when you was resident in a place, you wouldn't invite anybody to come and clash with you in there in case they beat you, and then would you lose that residency?
No.
It didn't work like that?
No. But it would be very hard for somebody to come into your... You would invite in 1 and 2 people just to break the scene, you know, and so forth. Change it up a little bit. You would invite people to come in now and again, and so forth. But 9 times out of 10, you would still be the champion, you know, in your residence.
Yeah. So really, Fatman Sound made their name while you were selecting the sound, really?
Yeah, took it to another level.
Yeah, a good level still.
That's right. Fatman Sound was already established now in the area, you know, so forth, as a good sound.
But you took it to another level
now to become one of the top 3 sounds in the whole of England, yeah.
As you mentioned, England, was there other sounds around in, say, Birmingham, Manchester, you could mention at the time?
Yeah, man. You had Quaker City in Birmingham, you had Mafia Tone, you had a few sounds, plus Christopher.
And everybody had a big following as well.
Yeah, man, them one there.
All right, then. Tell us now about the move from Fatman to Unity Sound.
Yeah, well, after, like, say, playing Fatman sound now for 6-7 years, you know, and so forth, I decided, after a weekend playing out and so forth, it's like I was there with Bonnie Lee, you know, the producer, and Jammers, you know, so forth, and, you know, we was just talking to each other, you know, and so forth, and Bonnie Lee said to me, like, I said, Ribs, you want to build your own sound, you know, and so forth, and Jammers said, yes, man, you have to do your thing, man.
So when you just mentioned two of the biggest names in reggae history there, Striker Lee and King Jammies, they must have heard you playing Fatman sound then.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's why they come to that opinion that
I can do my own thing, yeah, you know, and gave me the encouragement. So I said, okay, you know, so forth, I'm going to do this thing.
Is that where you struck up the relationship with them then?
Yeah, well, Jammies was already living in my house.
Okay.
You know, when he come to England, he used to stay, you know, in my house. So we had a friendship. I used to take him to the record companies. So we had a relationship there. And Jammies and Bonnie Lee, Jammies was the engineer for Bonnie Lee when he in Jamaica. So them two know one another a long time and so forth from Jamaica, you know.
So you introduced them to people like Greensleeves and stuff?
Yeah, well, Jammies I introduced to Greensleeve. Bonnie Lee don't know them people already. You know, but Jammies, no, I introduced him to... Well, to be honest, how that came about, I was like cutting a dub plate, Foley Rankin, Johnny Osborne. I was cutting it on a dub plate, and Chris, who owned Greensleeves, was there. So he liked the song and so forth. And I said to him, okay, I'm going to get in touch with Jammies and see if I can get Jammies to send him this track so that he can release it on his label. Them time the Greensleeves never so enormous. So that was how the link came between Jammies and Greensleeves.
When you say cut dub plate with Johnny Osborne, we're not talking about special, we're talking about the tune before it's released.
Yeah, the tune before it's released.
That's what dub was known as at that time.
Yeah,
exclusives that you would have to play first before anybody else.
That's right.
Is that the reason why anything would come up to Jammies then used to come to your sound first?
Yeah, well, we struck up a good friendship. It was something we're close to family without actually blood ties and so forth, because there was a lot of me taking him here and there. He lived in my house, so, you know, my wife cooked his food and, you know, and whatever, you know, so it was like a family thing.
Well, name some of the artists that Jammies was working with at the time, because it must have been really good for you to not have a link like that, because he had some top names working with him.
Well, he eventually ended up working with everyone and so forth, but in that time he's like, say, Johnny Osborne,
Black Uhuru?
Yeah, Black Uhuru, that's right, you know, Delroy Wilson, a lot of artists, holy plenty.
I already had an interview with Jammies, so we don't really need to go too deep into that, because we know the history of the music.
That's right.
But a lot of Jammies music was worked with Bobby Digital as well, though, wasn't it? He's another person that you knew as well, quite.
Yeah. Well, Bobby came over. Bobby came to England when Jammies came to England to play out with his sound, you know, and so forth. So Bobby came along with him, you know. But I knew Bobby when I went to Jamaica. When Jammies would get married, I was the best man.
Okay.
You know, and so forth. So I met Bobby there, you know.
This is the old man from Westmoreland speaking, see? And right now, me I listen to DJ Wamanizi on the big radio. Here I'm Mavis. Well, the picture stick your mama car Wamanizi warm up the place with sound tune.
There's a lot of people out there that want to claim that they can play the most jammies and this and that and the other, and they played them first. But we're setting the record straight now, aren't we? Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of claims. You can only claim, you know, and so forth. That's all it can be.
Yeah.
You understand me? Because like I said, the man was living in my house. You know, he knew of my ability from Fatman Sound to play the music. And Sound System was more like, say, the radio station for reggae at that time too.
For real. Because a lot of reggae wasn't really getting played on the radio, neither.
No, that's right.
Because there wasn't any pirate radios at that time.
No, they weren't.
And the big stations, it'd only be people like, say, John Peel and people like that would be playing.
Play 1 and 2 reggae, you know,
Yeah.
and so forth. But the reggae that was played on the sound systems as well wouldn't be played on the radio.
Right, we touched on Lovers Rock earlier on, and the reason why I want to touch on it again is because we just mentioned that reggae wasn't being played by the mainstream radio at the time. There was no pirate radio. So to me, I saw Lovers Rock being introduced by Lloyd Coxon when he brought Louisa Marks Caught You in a Lie. Was getting played in dances a lot. Is that the introduction of Lovers Rock in the UK, would you say?
That is one of the introduction of Lovers Rock in, you know. But I know Lovers Rock has actually been introduced by a producer called Leonard Chin. So forth, who used to live in my era. He recorded people like Trevor Walters, you know, so forth, and a few other, Gina de Bambo, and, you know, a few other artists from, you know.
Is that Leonard Chin? Is he anything to do with the Chins from VP Records? Is he?
No, he isn't, and so forth. He had Santic label. Yeah, Santic label.
Yeah,
that's right. He was a producer from Jamaica, living in England now.
You see, there's quite a few people that don't really get mentioned nowadays who had input in reggae.
That's right.
Name some of the labels then, apart from Santic. What other labels were around at that time?
There's a lot of labels from that time.
There's
yeah, man. Tremendous amount, you know.
But, I mean, we mentioned Unity. We were talking about Unity. There was a label called Unity as well, wasn't there? Striker Lee label, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Jetstar. Jetstar, yeah. But obviously put out a lot of tunes that Striker Lee produced, you know, because Striker Lee was one of the original, you know, big producers, you know. We used to come to England with his products, so a lot of his stuff was being released in England.
Let's get back to the Unity sound now, because we moved on from Fatman to Unity. What was that like in the beginning for you?
Okay, well, you see Unity sound now. When I build Unity sound now, right, there was a gap there for the blues parties still, because Fatman Sound did leave the blues parties and playing in mostly clubs and dance halls. There was nobody playing in blues. Nobody wanted to play in blues parties. There was nobody playing there. So there was a gap there. I saw a gap there to play into some house blues, you know, and so forth. So we first started playing in house parties. From the very first house party we played, that was full. We went on, we did this thing like for a good year and a half, 2 years, because it went from a dance we used to finish at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning to something that's finishing 10, 11 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
You know,
yeah.
So forth. When you used to come to our dances, even 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, the cars would be double parked outside, you know. It just blew up.
Unity Sound is one of the sounds that produce artists as well, just as Coxon did and Mo Ambassador did. Because
Yeah. Well, what happened is, like, I used to like ask Striker Lee for 1 or 2 of his rhythm tracks, you know, and jammies and so forth. And when I got them, I would like to record. I first recorded Roy Rankin and Raymond Naphtali, 2 DJs, you know, and so forth. I did this thing from Fatman Sound, but I used to give the tracks to Fatman to release for me and so forth. So when I have my own sound now, I would release the tunes now, you know. I actually, like, say, took Matthew and Floxy them, you know, to the recording studios. They were very young then, and built some rhythm tracks, and then put some of the guys them that was on my sound, you know, because every sound now, after the, like, say, the early blues dance stage of Unity, the entertainer side of the sound system started to get bigger in England. You had to add DJs and singers on your sound system as well as playing good music. So I decided to record some of those guys, you know.
Can you name some of those people that you name?
Yeah, man. Kenny Nuts, you know, did a tune called Watch Out the People Them Dancing, that mash up the place.
Alright now, watch out the man them dancing, watch out the woman them dancing. Hello, if a romance in the dance, in the dance. Right now, conquer the people rock with me. In the dance, we're smoking sensei. Dance up to nice, dance up to sweet, up to sweet, dance up to sweet, the dance is up to sweet, yeah. Come on now, watch out the dance crowd dancing, watch out the dance crowd dancing. The library, yeah. Come on now, the library, yeah. Come on now, and a 2 split and 2 wine again. That will keep the dance bubbling. Selector, DJ DJ, yeah. Selector, DJ, yeah. Watch out the woman them dancing, and the man them dancing. Watch out the man them dancing, and the woman them dancing.
Mikey Mercer did Ride the Rhythm.
Me just a bubble pan the rhythm, a bubble pan the rhythm. Me just a ride pan the rhythm, a ride pan the rhythm. Me just a bubble pan the rhythm. Oh yes. Well, I know one type of rhythm I specialize in. Like some DJs, what you hear DJing, we ride pan the rhythm. I say me just a ride pan the rhythm. When me come and up, me keep you rocking and swing. Hold on pan a dart and start bubbling. We ride pan the rhythm. I say me just a ride pan the rhythm.
You had Peter Bouncer. Get ready for the dance hall tonight.
On the sound, you also had other artists like Lloyd Brown that came in.
Yeah, Lloyd Brown. I mean, first we called Lloyd Brown. You know, it was Ring Up My Number. You know, and so forth. I recorded half a dozen tracks with Lloyd Brown's. I released 2. The other 4, you know.
Any other artists out there that you recorded as well that were on other sounds or might have been just?
Yeah, well, I recorded Richie Davis as well. I mean, Richie Davis was on my sound.
All right, baby. Alright, baby. Alright, baby. You have to cool. The brethren, yes, you have to cool. You have to cool. The brethren, yes, you have to cool. In this time of sufferation, the moderation, dep and jalan. And who are ruling no most money, man. That's why we end up in this situation. You have to cool. The brethren, yes, you have to cool. You have to cool. The brethren, yes, you have to cool. Why you tip out the bakery shop? Why you tip out the sweetest shop? Why you tip out the supermarket? Me no love, me no like, me no respect it. So you have to cool. The brethren, yes, you have to cool. You have to cool. The brethren, yes, you have to cool. We no wanna win on Limbo. We no wanna win on Limbo. Alright, Oh well, alright. Lean good, hey. You don't want no lean good, no. Lean good, hey. You don't want no lean good, whoa. Cross can bend, you know me cross can bend. Swash nigga come back again. Come back again, alright. The only thing I lean, I'm me kangle. Yes, nicotine, yes, me have me hunger. Have a little money and you have a little friend. When that done, you don't see them again. Lean boot, yes, me done with it. Done with it. Lean boot, yes, me done with it. Done with it. Class can bend. You know we class can bend. We cross can bend. Swash nigga come back again. And only my girl can bend. Alright, alright.
I even recorded one of Luton favorites at the time, Crucial Robbie. And so forth, yeah, you know. So it's the case of just recording who you can record.
And as you mentioned Crucial Robbie, he used to do a lot of voicing for Jatubby's sound.
Yeah, Jatubby's, that's right. Jatubby's, he did Proud to Be Black.
Should be proud to be black. And I'm gonna tell you why. Hey. Anything me say, wanna say, proud to be black. Anything me say, wanna say, proud to be black. Anything me say, wanna say, proud to be black. Anything me say, wanna say, proud to be.
We just talked about recording artists. That shows that you produce as well as work sound system, as well as selecting and recruiting artists to work around the sound. You also produce in the studio as well.
Yeah, that's right.
And what would that feel like? Because that's another thing. That's another career, really.
Yeah. Well, that is an experience that I like. It's something that I like doing, you know, and so forth. When I used to listen to Jammys and Bonnie Lee talk, you know, Striker Lee, when the man would just sit down and talk about Sly and Robbie and certain other musicians and the sessions that they used to run in Jamaica, you know, and so forth. I used to just sit down and listen to them and admire some of the things them, you know.
And as you say, you sit down and listen to them, you get to meet some of the artists at the time, like Gregory Isaacs, Dennis Brown.
Yeah, well, I met Gregory Isaac because Fatman are the first man really to keep a show in England with Gregory Isaac. So that's where I met Gregory Isaac. Errol Dunkley used to come around Fatman enough. Keith Hodgson come around Fatman enough.
And you're talking about live in the dance as well, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Because when the man they come to England, they used to go where the sound system would be, you know, and so forth, and introduce themselves, as well as the sound system used to go to Jamaica and meet these guys as well, you know.
So with Unity Sound, you had people that come over from Jamaica like Josie Wales and Supercat used to DJ on the sound as well?
Yeah, well, Supercat and Nicodemus DJ the sound one night. Somebody brought them in from Jamaica to do some shows.
Okay.
You know, and they wanted the leading sound at the time to back them. So they hired me. We did a dance for them, you know.
Is there other artists as well of that caliber that come on your sound?
Yeah, well, eventually, you know, Jammers himself with the whole of Theme crew, you know, ended up using my sound when he came to England to tour. You know, but we, Peter Metro, Josie Whale, you know, there was plenty, a whole heap of artists passed it, Nitty Gritty passed through, you know what I mean? Because I released the music that you
played earlier,
Sweet Radio Music, that's right. You know what I mean? That was Nitty Gritty stayed with me for a good 6 months. When he came to England, it was me that he came to England to, you know, so Jammy's sending me.
Sweet reggae music, all the keep on playing. Go on now, sweet reggae music playing, sweet reggae music playing. In a distance, go on now, played in the New York City, played in the London town, all over the world. Go on now, played for the young and the old. Reggae music have them under control the world. Alright then, go on now. Tick boom, dum daddy. See Mr. Woman, easy, I'd rather drill my deep on the world beat. Alright, so the massive well need. Everything you know is sweet.
Your sound not only played in London, you played all over the country as well, isn't it?
Yeah, man, right over the country.
Because I heard some other sounds out there. Well, I won't call no names because we know I won't get no argument with them, but we're talking facts today. Your sound travelled all around Birmingham,
we travel all over the
Manchester,
all over the country.
Luton, all over Bedford, Northampton, Milton Keynes.
When you become the number one sound in your time, you know, because that's all you can actually do at the end of the day, you know, become number one. When you become the number one sound in England, you travel all over England, you know, from one end of England to the next.
And you could be the only sound on the bill as well, and place would still be ram out wherever you went.
That's right.
And that's because of the music that the selector was selecting more than the man talking over the microphone, as it is nowadays. What do you think about the changes in sound system nowadays?
Yeah, well, things evolve. Things evolve, really, you know. Basically, we did the changes. It is what it is, you know, and so forth. Because the radio scene come along, and then with DJs, they actually took over the circuit. Things evolve, you know. The main sounds are still there.
I think what's gone wrong with the music, though, is the production side, you know, the lyrical content. I disagree with the lyrical content on some of the tunes.
Yeah, a lot of it. It's much better now. It is much better now. Yeah. But like you said, the lyrical content of the music went stupid at one stage. And the dancehall thing came in, the, you know, DJ tunes and the whole heap of that came in and so forth, which took the music to another level.
Artists have improved as well, skill-wise.
That's DJs right.
More talented.
Yeah, it's improved a lot, you know, and so forth. And we are getting a lot better music now over the last couple of years, in fact, you know, coming out of the island, you know.
And with technology and the internet and all that all helps as well.
Yeah, it all helps. Yeah. It helps. Because reggae, to me, you know, my opinion, reggae is bigger now.
But we just need to take more control of it, I feel.
Yeah, well, we're trying to.
In the sense of monitoring the music out, music sales, if we can.
Yeah, individually, if we can. Because, like I said, reggae has really got, to me, bigger, you know, because reggae is in places like Australia, Brazil, where back in the days it wasn't. So it's bigger, it's more worldwide, you know. And
with the internet as well, it's showing you how popular Unity Sound is worldwide. The original Unity Sound, which is
I mean, there is Unity Sound that's popped up all over the world now. Unity Sound in Switzerland, Unity Sound in Germany, Italy,
Japan,
you know, Japan, and so forth. That's right. So Unity Sound just spring up all over the world.
And it's all because of you, really.
Yeah, well.
I mean, no, you've got to say it, because at the end of the day, you've got One Love sounds, quite a few One Love sounds as well out there.
Yeah.
Like you said, back in the day, Coxsone would name his sound because Coxsone in Jamaica was popular.
Yeah, that's right.
We had Gemini in England because Gemini was in Jamaica was popular.
Right.
So it's the same with Unity now, worldwide.
Yeah.
It all sprung from here.
That's right.
And do you find a lot of people contacting you, because you're still involved in the music heavily, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I went to Brighton last 2 weeks ago to play, you know, on the seafront there in Brighton. You know, and so forth. People contact me. I speak to guys in France. I speak to guys all over the place.
You did an interview with one of the top reggae magazines in Europe as well, if not the top, which is...
Yeah, Natty Dread
magazine. That's right,
in France, you know. Yeah, they contact me from all over the place.
And those guys come over to England to do
the interview. France is very knowledgeable in reggae now.
Yeah. What would you say was the most popular country for reggae right now, apart from Jamaica? Because at one time it was England, but...
For me, still, you know, I ain't lying to you. Even though the record sales are not here in England, to me, England is still popular for reggae. England has played a major part in the marketing and distribution of reggae music to the world. Because even though reggae music was made in Jamaica, a great deal of it came to England that wasn't even released in Jamaica. And from England, the rest of the world got to see it. You know? So England, to me, is still one of the main places, you know? Whereas sales-wise now, because of how the way the music system has changed up, France, Germany, Japan, where reggae is selling because they're still dealing with vinyl on a large scale.
Do you see your sound even playing abroad, like what Shaka played in Central Park in America, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And Fatman travel as well, so I think it's about time Unity travel as well.
Yeah, well, you see... With the traveling, it would have to fit into everything else, what I'm doing, because like it says, I've got my own studio, I've got my own website, and I'm in the process of putting all of this together and let it viable so that people can, you know.
Before we talk about your website and stuff and your productions, tell us about a few of the places that you've played recently, because I know you've played at quite a lot as well in London.
Yeah, there is a couple of clubs in the north side of London, the area where I come from, you know, Grape, the Platinum Suite, and New Year's Eve I'm going to play in the Pride of Tottenham Wine Bar, and, you know, we're constantly out there.
It's been a real great pleasure having you here on the World Reggae Beat, and I mean, we're going to have to do another interview because there's so much more we could talk about as well. You know, definitely we're going to do another interview. But before you go, Tell us about some releases that you're working on that due for release soon.
I live in Luton area and so forth, so I've been working with about 4 artists from Luton area. And I've got some songs. I've got some project in the pipeline with like Richie Davis, Liquor T, that's an artist from my area in London, and a few other artists in London as well, you know, projects going on with them. I at this particular time, you know, I prefer to work alongside the UK based artists, you know, because we can link more easier and we have the temperament of the artist and all these things come into play.
This station rules the nation. We version. Now this is Daddy U. I said that when I'm in town, I just love to listen to DJ Warm and Easy. Yeah? Respect.
They say the air is fresh and clean in Zion. They say there's love enough to share for everyone. If your heart is pure and clean, take a trip and you'll know what I mean. For there's no war, no hatred in our Mount Zion. We're moving. They say there's no harm there in Zion. So children have no fear in time of repatriation. If your heart is pure and clean, take a trip and you'll know what I mean. For there's no war, no hatred in our Mount Zion. We weep no more. We weep no more. Oh Lord,
I'm tell them say a DJ Warm and Easy and call the beat, the lyrical fire upon the battlefield, and right now you're in tune to the World Reggae Beat Show. Step in!
This is the reference, you know, and it don't make sense. Cause Babylon on a conscience. You understand me? Me nah go talk the talk you talk. Me say no, Mr. Wicked Man. Me nah go try the road you try. You're not a part of me God, no. Me nah go sing the song you sing. It's not about my king. Me nah go say where me no fi say. Me have to move, so I ain't gonna sell my soul for no Babylon silvers nor gold. No, me nah play no Babylon role. Too much story in there untold. Again, ain't gonna sell my soul for the Babylon silvers nor gold. No, me nah play no Babylon role. Too much story in there untold.
Ribs, it's been a great pleasure having you on World Reggae Beat. You know, a long time I've been waiting for this interview. And before you go, I want you to tell the people about any website where you might have, or Twitter or MySpace, you know, where people can find out about the original Unity sound.
Okay, well, I've just set up a website called iTimes Records. You know, that is to release all the products that I did in the past, you know, reissues, and to release the new stuff that I'm doing now, you know, on download, because that is the way forward, you know, and so forth. I've got the Unity MySpace, the original Unity sound, that's on MySpace. Robert FEARON Unity Sounds, that is Facebook, because the internet is the way forward, so you have to get involved in all of these stuff.
Before you go, say some shout out to some people that will be listening to World Reggae Beat right around the world.
Yeah. Well, I want to big up Miss Moore, you know what I mean? Big up Winston Irie, big up most of my brethren them, you know, we live in a Luton and stuff. Big up all of my brethren them in London, you know. Big up my family. Big up my son Aiden, that's Luton.
And we're going to leave him with a sound now of another track that was, it's a Jammys track, but it came out in England and was made popular by Unity Sound, Johnny Osborne. Buddha Bye number 1. What do you say?
Buddha Bye number 1.
Buddha Bye number 1. Buddha Bye number 1. Buddha Bye number 2. Buddha Bye.
And this is a definite Clash tune as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. Big thing.
Buddha Bye number 4. Hold up your hand if you love her, then your fashion and styling. There is a posse in the corner, all of them just a ball of murder. But let me hear you say, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah. Buddha Bye number 1. Buddha Bye number 2. Buddha Bye number 3. Buddha Bye number 4. Buddha Bye number 4. Hold up your hand if you love her, then your fashion and styling. There is a posse in the corner, all of them just a ball of murder. But let me hear you say, whoa.
Warm and easy. World Reggae Beat. You don't know warm and easy we say no. Yo, it's the warm and easy. You don't know what Captain Barker say what you know.
DJ Warm and Easy. And what that man? That tune the way you play stink. Pull it up. Pull it up. All kinds of that.
That's the sounds of the World Reggae Beat. Got to say, big request going out to Father Ribs for the last hour or so on the World Reggae Beat. And as we play our final tune, don't forget World Reggae Beat carries on into the new year and into 2013 and beyond. So many thanks to all the people that joined us over the last year or so on the World Reggae Beat. Hope you had a Merry Christmas and I hope you have a Happy New Year, and I'll see you on the other side of 2012. So till then, from me, Warm and Easy, take it easy and we'll see you later. Bye for now.
You jack it up one more time. Say this a one and nicer than any punk rocker. Me lick out this a wood and up and nail it up back. Me tear a piece of zinc and then me catch it up back. Me show say this a one and happy reach up at the top. We say rewind. We jack it up one more time. Oh oh oh. We say rewind. You jack it up one more time. Oh well. Rewind. We jack it over one more time. And if you're happy and you're looking, say rewind. Ask the operator, jack it one more time. It's a rewind. Jack it over one more time. If you're happy and you love it, say rewind. You ask the operator, jack it one more time. It's a rewind. Me happy Lego device. Hear me now. We are Lego divine. We are Lego divine. We say rewind. You jack it up one more time. We say rewind. You jack it up one more time. You hear me now? We say rewind. We jack it up one more time. We say we cock down, so we go ram up them all. We cock it down, so and then we ram up them all. Them say rewind. Jack it up one more time. We say rewind. You jack it up one more time. Hear me now. Rewind. We jack it up one more time. This a one ya nicer than any punk rock. Me lick out this a wood, me have to nail it up back. Me tear a piece of zinc, me have to catch it up back. Me show say this a one ya have to reach up at the top. We say rewind. Jack it over one more time. Hear me now. We say rewind. We say we fling it down one more time. Me just ask me operator to rewind. Fling it down one more time. We say we ram down, so we have a cock down a mall. We cock down, so we have to ram up down a mall. We say rewind. You jack it over one more.
Yeah. Warm and easy, them for those so stay from then till now, we're still around them to know so them can't be in a clown. Real reggae beat, everything is everything, therefore that's a big respect every time. Even though the
this is Froggy Bad Squad and I represented for Warm and Easy. Now, you know when it come on to good quality music, Warm and Easy have it locked. And we say, even though Warm and Easy, we'll take it worldwide musically. Turn up on the radio for Warm and Easy.
I said, I don't know. World beat sound, big talk around Warm and Easy. You run the town from England to New York to yard. And the dog dance our first round traffic. Voila, voila, voila.
Warm and Easy. Easy. Present. Warm and Easy and them produce a sort of thing set out to see them can't draw out after no shoelace. We're not getting new case. Believe me, no. Warm and Easy. Oh.
Lord God, no. Lord, no. Warm and Easy, make it bad, so play. Play what you wanna play. Play reggae music. Play them every night and day. Play for the people. Lord, no. Yeah, man, a bunny general himself and make you know say Warm and Easy in a ramp when them a play reggae music. Straight, see them in body. Cool, no, man.